Plates ready? This is Food School, Smarter, Stronger, Leaner podcast. Want to feel amazing, love the way you look in the mirror, and perform your absolute best in the gym, at work, and in life? You're definitely in the right place. Food, it's you. It builds every single cell of you. And if there is one thing every human being must master, it's food. Because at the very least, eating, you do it every day, several times a day, every single day. You might as well get good at it. I'm your host, Shurina from Create Yourself That Today, your personal nutritionist and plate watcher, your diet guide and explorer, your fat loss coach and food inspector. And just someone with a lot of passion and obsession and curiosity for healthy food, healthy diets, nutrition, optimized human performance, everything and absolutely anything you put in your grocery shopping cart, your fridge, on your plate, and in your mouth. It's my business. Food School, on a mission to help you eat better daily.
It's the last time I talk about food. It's the last time I talk about food.
Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Food School Smarter, Stronger, Leaner podcast. And it's Monday, guys, and it's time to commit to something that is important to you. One or two goals that you would like to get closer to, and commit with daily behaviors toward that goal. And in the mood of Monday and motivation and to start the week right, I want to read something to you from Seth's blog, from Seth Godin blog, and the blog is titled Streaks. So, Streaks. Today's the 11th year in a row of daily posts on this blog. Nearly 5 million words since my first post 20 years ago. And I haven't missed a day, given some time zone wiggle room since 2008. Streaks are their own reward. Streaks create internal pressure that keeps streaks going. Streaks require commitment at first, but then the commitment turns into a practice, and the practice into a habit. Habits are much easier to maintain than commitments. I'm pretty sure that the blog would still have an impact if I missed a day here or there. But once a commitment is made to a streak, the question shifts from should I blog tomorrow to what will tomorrow's blog say? And once you've made that shift, it's 100 times easier to find the voice that you're looking for. And so the point of me reading this blog, guys, is to give you a tool to actually start getting results in your life, meaningful for you results in the way that is easier for you, in the way that sticks. And the way to do that, as this blog suggests, and what I found from my personal practice, is to start some practice and commit to habits, to daily actions that will lead towards the result that you seek in life. So for example, if you want to have a fitter body and you understand that regular exercise is the way to get there, then you need to commit to streaks or basically uninterrupted days, many days that you're going to commit to this habit. And the thing that you want to understand is it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be the same. It doesn't have to be maximum effort possible. Meaning, like, for example, let's say from today, you commit to everyday workouts. So it means that you're going to do something as a form of exercise every single day. And sometimes it can be a fast walk, maybe towards your workplace, because you don't have time this day for anything else. Or maybe on this day, it's going to be 15-minute yoga with some YouTube video. And maybe on the weekends, you can do a 2-hour heavy lifting workout. Or maybe you go cycling with your family. But do something every day. and that's how you create streaks. And also the same name for this kind of habit that builds momentum, that builds habits that bring the result that you seek to you. Don't break the chain habit, or basically another way to amplify this is to have a calendar that you put on your wall, or maybe that is standing and you put on your desk. And so each time you do the habit, you cross the day or you tick the day. And the goal is to not break the chain. So basically, so every day there is this cross on that day that you did indeed that habit. And then the question again shifts from whether should you do that to how can you do that. So the same, for example, let's take my example with this podcast. So I've committed to doing a podcast every single day through Monday to Friday indefinitely. And now the question shifts from whether I should do a podcast today, or whether do I have good ideas for a podcast today? Do I have energy? Do I have time for that? No, the question shifts to how can I make it happen today? Sometimes I don't have that much time. Sometimes I don't have any ideas. And before I sit down, I have like very vague idea what I'm going to be talking about, but I made this commitment that I'm going to do something every day. Even if it's a 5-minute podcast sharing with you my recent life hack or food or nutrition hack that might not make sense to a lot of you, but it will make sense to a few of you listeners, and it will help you, some of you, maybe a couple of people. Even if it helps one another person, it's already making a positive influence, and it's changing a world in a positive way. And maybe some of my ideas will not be that great, and maybe some of the podcasts will not be that interesting to you in particular, but it will be interesting to someone else. And so the point is, I committed to doing this podcast every single day, Monday to Friday, no matter what. It's, by the way, my recent commitment. I missed a few days here and there over the last couple of years since I started doing this podcast. But now that I have this commitment, don't break the chain or build streaks. Now I'm committed to doing it every single day, Monday to Friday, taking weekends off. And I'm doing that, figuring out the ways to do it. And the same you can apply to your workout habits or to your healthy eating habits. Maybe you decide to quit sugar. And so the most important thing is for you to keep it going every single day. So no added sugars, let's say, right? And the rest you can do whatever. What I do not recommend you to do is to have a lot of behaviors, a lot of habits that you are trying to build all together. I usually recommend to have, from my personal and professional experience, that what works for people. Otherwise, we just get overwhelmed and we do nothing. So what I recommend to most of you guys, and to myself and to anyone, is to take only 1 or 2 behaviors that you're working on, especially in the beginning. Once you get the momentum going and you feel like it's it doesn't require that much willpower or thinking or energy from your side to keep it going, then you can add on top of that something else. But until you get this, until you feel like you got this, and you keep it going no matter what, until this, I do not recommend to start working on other habits. Otherwise, you would quit everything altogether. And it's okay, guys, to realize that maybe some things are just not something you would like to continue doing. It's okay to quit some things. It's okay to stop some things. But make it a conscious decision, not because it's hard or because it seems challenging at the beginning, but because you actually did it, but you realize that it's not something that makes sense to you anymore. What can I say from my personal example? Well, for example, my weekly fast on Sunday. I used to do it pretty consistently, but then I started eating once a day. And so doing almost every day, almost 24-hour fast, and then trying to add another fast every Sunday for the whole day just didn't make sense to me, and it felt like a lot of struggle, and it didn't really add any significant benefits to anything. So I just eliminated that because I made this conscious decision that, I fast enough. So doing longer fasts once in a while and doing one meal a day, that's what works for me right now, and that's what I'm gonna keep. And I'm not going to keep Sunday fast because it doesn't make sense for me anymore. But again, I'm quitting it not because it's challenging, but because it just doesn't make any sense in my situation. But yeah, to sum up this episode, work on streaks, work on periods of uninterrupted chains or days when you commit to a habit. And also another advice is to start with minimum effective dose. So again, when it comes to workouts, for example, don't commit to an hour of gym time every day. It's really hard to keep, even for me. Like, life is unpredictable. Sometimes you get sick, sometimes you travel, sometimes you just don't have that time. But you can always have time for a walk, for example. And even if you're feeling sick, it's actually going to make you feel better, and it's still a form of exercise. Or maybe do yoga at home, or maybe do 5-minute workout at the airport. I did it quite a few times. So start with minimum effective dose and work on building the chain, building the momentum, building the streak of days when you do something every single day. And then you develop a habit that will give you the results, the goals that you seek. So if your goal was a fitter body, then exercise, regular exercise will get you there. And so just work on being consistent with it. And then again, in your head, the question will shift from whether should you do that, or do you have time for that, or energy, or anything. The question will shift to how can I do it today? Where can I squeeze that workout? And that's a very important mindset shift that will help you to keep the momentum going and ultimately to develop habits for life that will allow you to keep the results for life. And so that's the lesson of today. So start 1 or 2 habits. If you're someone who's really struggling with changing your habits, then you probably should start with only one behavior, one habit. And then once you got that, you can add on top of that something else. And again, start simple, start easy, and then build on top of that. That's for today, guys. Let me know what you thought about this advice, and maybe you need some more advice on, what should you do to get the result you want? What habits should you start doing consistently? And if you have any questions, if you need any advice about what you heard today, what you learned today, feel free to reach out. I'm more than happy to help you, and also share it with other people. We learn better when we teach someone else. And when we commit with someone else to some behavior, we stick to it much, much better because there is accountability. You have a buddy who you work with on the same thing. So if you can do that, try to do that, because that really makes habits stick even more powerfully with you every day. And that's it, guys. Have a wonderful week. Commit to something, make it consistent, and as usual, till next time, eat better daily.